You're standing in tall grass outside the Okavango Delta. 30 yards away, a lioness has stopped mid-stalk, ears forward, muscles loaded. She's been closing the distance for 2 minutes. Then something changes. She doesn't charge. She turns and walks the other way. Because the man standing in the grass has been blind since birth, and somehow, that changes everything. Right now, whatever room you're in, your eyes are doing something you never think about. They're scanning, locking onto movement, broadcasting, without your permission, exactly where your attention is. You've never had to live without that signal. Most predators on Earth have spent their entire evolutionary history reading it. So what happens when that signal simply isn't there? Why does an animal that can smell fear, hear a heartbeat spike, and track a limp from 40 feet away seem to hesitate around a human who can't see it back? In 2020, a research team led by Neil Jordan at the University of New South Wales, working with cattle herds near Botswana's Okavango Delta, painted a second set of eyes on the rumps of cattle, bold white, staring outward. Over 4 years, the painted cattle were significantly less likely to be killed by lions than their unmarked herdmates. One number made the study impossible to ignore. Not a single eye-painted cow was killed by a lion in the entire study period, while unpainted and cross-marked cattle were. A predator that thinks it's been seen calls off the hunt. Being seen isn't just uncomfortable for prey. For an ambush predator, it's the whole hunt collapsing. So what changed the odds so completely? Verify. The mechanism cattle researchers propose is that ambush predators rely on stealth and a perceived stare signals detection, ending the element of surprise. This is the leading interpretation in the cited study, not a separate, independent confirmation. A lion's entire strategy is built on getting within a few body lengths before the prey knows it exists. The moment that assumption breaks, the calculation breaks with it. Here's where it gets stranger. Everyone assumes a blind person walking through predator territory is the easiest possible target. No early warning, no way to spot the crouch in the grass. The truth is more complicated. What a predator is reading isn't vision, it's directional attention, and a person who isn't visually locked onto anything gives off none of the signals a hunting animal uses to judge whether it's been detected. No fixed stare. No sudden freeze. No held breath. The tells just aren't there to read. Daniel Kish lost both eyes to retinoblastoma before he turned 14 months old. By early childhood, he taught himself to click his tongue and read the echoes bouncing back. Off walls, cars, trees, curbs. He now rides a bicycle through traffic using nothing but sound. Kish founded World Access for the Blind, teaching the same technique to blind children on multiple continents. His nervous system rebuilt an entire spatial sense out of clicks and silence, the kind of adaptation that used to only exist in bats and dolphins. But there's a problem with treating that as evidence of some special animal deference. A person navigating by echolocation isn't projecting the predator-recognizable behaviors of a sighted human either. No darting eyes, no visible startle response, no gaze that locks and holds. Verify. No controlled study has directly tested whether wild predators respond differently to echolocating humans specifically. This connects two separately documented phenomena rather than one confirmed causal link. Guide dogs offer the clearest counter case, because here the bond isn't ambiguous at all. In 2015, researchers at Asabi University in Japan, led by Takefumi Kikusui, found that mutual gaze between dogs and their owners triggers a measurable spike in oxytocin in both species, the same hormone that bonds a parent to an infant. Guide dogs and their blind handlers build that same closeness without the gaze ever completing the loop the same way. The connection gets rebuilt through touch on the harness, tone of voice, the rhythm of a shared walk repeated 10,000 times. The bond isn't weaker for missing a channel. It just uses a different one. Everyone assumes trust between species requires eye contact. The version of intimacy every nature documentary teaches you to expect, the long, meaningful stare between a woman and a wolf. The truth is that eye contact is just one predator-reading tool among several, and animals that lose access to it fall back on breath, posture, smell, and stillness. A blind human doesn't get a magic pass through the animal kingdom. They just present a different set of variables. And some of those variables happen to be the exact ones a hunting animal is built to read as a green light to walk away. The lioness in the grass wasn't shown mercy, and she wasn't fooled. She read an absence. No stare, no fixation, no directional threat, and made a calculation her instincts have run 1,000,000 times before. Humans spent so long assuming our eyes were the thing that made us dangerous, or safe, or seen. It turns out the world was never reading our eyes at all. It was reading our attention. And some of the safest people in the wild are the ones whose attention was never visible in the first place.